And we're live. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast to be exact. And I'm Hudson.
And I'm Ryan.
And well, Ryan, we're coming off a Pistons versus Sixers loss. And something new we've started actually fairly recently is Revved Up recaps, where after every game, you can catch me and Ryan on Zoom, on YouTube at Revved Up 906 on the tube. And we break down every Pistons game, what went wrong, what went right. And we've been having some fun with it. It's been fun breaking everything down. We've had a couple clips kind of get some good likes on TikTok here and there. So we appreciate the love and just show support and be prepared for that every day following a Pistons game. Today, we are in episode number 10. We have hit double digits. So congrats to us. A little cheerio or something like that, you know, congratulatory. I don't know where I'm going with that, but just shout out to the Revved Up boys for getting to week 10. We made it double digits. But today we are going to be breaking down the question, is Jalen Duren better than Nerlens Noel right now? Or are the Pistons all in on Duren? And that's why he's getting so many minutes. Where do you start when you start breaking this question down, Ryan?
Well, I look at stats, but in my opinion, Duren is better than Nerlens Noel.
Right.
Stats-wise, it's also there. But I think Noel is just, we're log-jammed at center right now.
Kind of.
So we have Stu, we have Duren. Then once Bagley gets back and is healthy, we have him. So there's three that Noel sits behind. I don't think he's better than any of them. There's a reason for that because he hasn't been getting the minutes. Mm-hmm. He's come up a lot in trade talks recently in the sense of getting moved for a couple pieces here and there.
Yeah.
But Noel, he was once a number one recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah.
He was legit.
For real.
Kentucky, his season there wasn't bad. He averaged 32 minutes, 11 points, 10 rebounds, and like 2 assists. So like that's pretty darn good
especially for D1.
Yeah. And he only spent 1 year at Kentucky, and that was it.
One and done.
And then he went to the NBA, was the 6th overall pick. He got drafted after Anthony Bennett, bust.
Yeah, right.
Victor Oladipo. I like him.
Yeah, he had a great career.
Otto Porter Jr., supposed to be possibly the great grandson of Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, right.
Cody Zeller and Alex Len. But he did get drafted before CJ McCollum, Steven Adams, the Greek Freak, Dennis Schroeder, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, that one hurts. That hurts for sure. From my understanding, the Pistons organization as a whole, and I'm guessing Nerlens, are all under the impression that Nerlens won't be in Detroit long term. About a month ago, it was reported via NBC Sports that Portland, Sacramento, Miami, and Dallas are all in talks with Weaver for Nerlens. The Mavericks have offered people like JaVale McGee and Frank Ntilikina for Nerlens. So, you know, I see him getting probably moved.
Yeah.
But as far as who's better right now, Nerlens or Duren, it's hard to say. I feel like Duren is definitely way more fun to watch.
Yeah.
But like, in my opinion, Jalen is better at scoring.
Yep.
His passing vision is very good for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Can guard multiple positions. I think he can probably guard the 2 to 5. I don't know if Nerlens can really do that. He's kind of slow, a little bit, you know, I don't know if he can guard a power forward, honestly, just because power forwards are a little bit more thicker. He takes smart shots, too.
He does.
And he shoots a high percentage.
Later in his career.
Nerlens Noel, his shot blocking might be a little bit more advanced than Duren right now. He may be a little bit better at the pick and roll. But his game, he's also had time for the game to slow down for him. So he's naturally going to be a little bit better at blocking shots because he's used to the speed of the NBA. But I think if you are a contending team and you want to make a long run in the playoffs, I think Nerlens Noel might be a better option for you. But for the Pistons, I'm happy that Duren is getting minutes over Noel, because I know for a fact if Noel was getting 31 minutes a game over Duren, the whole Pistons fan base would be losing our minds, because I would be furious and asking for Casey's job if Duren wasn't getting the minutes he is. So I am happy that he is getting long minutes.
See, I love Nerlens Noel.
Right.
We've always wanted him to wear the red, white, and blue for us.
I have too.
This is the wrong time. In a couple years from now, maybe when we're contending, maybe he can make a run on our roster. But I mean, when we have Bagley, potentially Wemby, and then Stewart and Duren, it's kind of like hard to put Nerlens Noel, who would be around 36 or 35 years old, on that team. Now, if Nerlens was on the Pistons back in like 2015, 16, that would have been better.
Right.
But we weren't great then either. But I don't see a time or place when he'd fit our roster perfectly.
Yeah, we see Nerlens Noel in 2015, 2016 season with the Sixers. He scored 11 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, almost 2 blocks. I think right now where Nerlens is at, his peak has passed.
Yeah.
He's at his NBA ceiling. He has shown that he can be a solid backup center, but he definitely shouldn't be taking minutes away from Duren.
Yeah.
And I think if he went to like a Maverick, which he had a couple seasons with the Mavericks in 17 and 18, I could see him maybe going back there and getting some solid minutes with a Christian Wood and stuff like that. I feel like they might complement each other well. And Luka being a skilled passer might pair well with Noel.
Yeah, Duren and Nerlens are, in my opinion, completely different players.
Yeah.
Noel is not known for being a scorer. He's a defensive anchor. Duren, he is a defensive anchor too, but he can just do so much more than what Nerlens could ever do.
Yeah.
He's a great facilitator. He has a keen eye for knowing where to put the ball. He actually can shoot. It's not like he's pulling out from 3 every single time. We haven't really seen that, but I feel like he could do that. But he's built, he's faster, he's stronger. And just in that sense, Nerlens hasn't really ever had that. And so, Nerlens, I love you, but
it's just not the right time.
It's not the right time. And you're not as good as Duren.
It's like a bad breakup. You know, you meet a gal and you're like, oh, I really like this gal. And then time goes on and you're like, oh, we just met each other at the wrong time in our life, right? It's like that. It's like, Noel, it could have worked out if maybe you came along a couple years later or a couple years earlier. The thing with Noel, too, his field goal percentage throughout his career, he only had 1 year really where it was above 60%. And that was in 2018 with OKC. Right now, Duren is hovering around 64%. I really like that about Duren at such a young age. And Noel, you saw early in his career, kind of struggle with a field goal percentage. Like you said, he was a defensive anchor, but typically a defensive anchor isn't taking many shots. So usually they shoot a higher percentage. You still didn't even see that with Noel. So that's a thing too. If Noel was getting extended minutes with this rough Pistons team, 11 wins on the season Pistons team, I don't think he would be playing as well as Duren has in his first 30 games. And he's a vet, to say the least. So,
in our roster right now, you could argue we need defensive help. But our defense is actually good enough where we don't even need Noel on the court.
Yeah.
Even if he is a defensive anchor.
Yeah.
Because Duren is getting block after block. And then Bogey is actually pretty darn good on defense. It doesn't look like it from time to time, but he is smart.
Yep.
And he's a vet and he knows what to do. Killian is literally
playing bonkers.
Yeah, he's a mini glove,
right?
But we have guys where they can play defense and they're showing it. And so when you have a defensive anchor like Nerlens, you don't need him out there.
Yeah,
because he's old, he's a little washed up. He's still very good, but he's just not what we need. And I don't see a time where we're going to need him anytime soon.
Right.
And so, like what you mentioned with Dallas, would I mind JaVale McGee? Honestly, bring him to Detroit. He's a Michigan native. That'd be cool.
Right.
Frank Ntilikina, he was supposed to be in a trade package early on when he was with the Knicks to us.
Yeah, he was.
And at that time, I'm like, yeah, let's take the flyer on him. But now it's more of like, that would create a logjam at guard for us.
Yeah.
Because we'd have Ivy, Cade, arguably Hami, and like Alec Burks and everybody. So we wouldn't need Ntilikina.
Yeah.
The only way I see that deal working out is if the Mavs threw in maybe a second round pick or something like that, where we'd get value.
Yeah. That's why I sometimes wish, as far as getting what we could get in return from Noel, I sometimes wish we gave him more minutes previous to Duren's injury, because we need to be able to flip him. Yep. Okay, we picked him up. Okay, now let's give him some minutes. Let's get him some footage, some highlights, and let's flip him for, like you were saying. I don't know right now if we could get a second round for him.
Yeah.
I think that's best case scenario. That's what I want. I don't know right now with the footage and the way he's been playing. He hasn't looked great this season when he has gotten minutes. So I wish he did get some more extended minutes, and I think we'll see that now with Duren out for a couple games with an ankle injury. We'll see him kind of get extended minutes against his former team, the Sixers, tonight. We'll kind of see how that goes. And if he starts playing well, hopefully we can kind of start seeing, okay, maybe we can get a little bit better of a guy than JaVale McGee, a guy that can make maybe a bigger impact. I do like JaVale McGee, though, because he's a big personality. And I think this Pistons team needs a couple big personalities to kind of get that chemistry rolling.
The vets we picked up this offseason aren't the loud type.
No.
They're very much introverted. And it's nice having a guy like Patrick Beverly or anybody like that.
I agree.
Because they're leaders, they're vets, they know what it takes to win. So when you have guys like that out there with a young team, they're going to work your tail off and you make sure you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Which I think we need right now, because we have stretches where you have Alec Burks stepping up, you have Bogey stepping up, but they're not loud. Not
vocally. It's just in their play.
Yeah. So if we were to make a move with Nerlens, which I think we will, let's get a loud guy.
Right.
Because I think that's definitely going to bolster this roster. And even if they're not getting a lot of playing time and coming off the bench more, that's fine.
Yeah.
We just need a vocal leader.
We just need a practice guy, a practice squad guy that's just out. When they're on the plane, he's making conversation with everybody. He's gambling on the plane with everybody. He's involved, right? We just need a guy that behind the scenes is vocal, whether he translates it on the court or not. I don't think we need that. I don't think we need average guys taking away minutes from Duren, from Killian, from Sadiq, from these young guys. That's why I was worried about all that dead weight at the end of our bench. Guys I like Alec Burks, I like Rodney McGruder, I like Corey Joseph, but all they're really doing is taking valuable minutes from our young guys that are developing. So I wouldn't mind a guy that just sits the bench every night, like a Rodney McGruder, but he's vocal. Because a guy like Nerlens, he's sitting the bench every night, but he knows he's passing through town. He's not. It doesn't seem like he's very involved. So it would be nice to get a JaVale McGee like that, because then that he's a little more vocal. And a guy like Bojan, he doesn't speak great English. I've heard some of his interviews, so I do see him communicating at times, but he's not a guy. He's not a Draymond Green, for example, that's pulling everybody together, sometimes apart. But Corey Joseph isn't that type.
No.
I can see him maybe every once in a while starting to speak up if it's falling apart in practice, but I can't see him day to day bringing guys together. It would be nice to see if we could flip Nerlens for a vocal leader.
Yeah, there's not one player on our team where I'm like, oh, he's loud.
Right.
A majority of them are quiet.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see Stu on the court kind of preaching to the guys, but he's really the only guy that I see do that from time to time.
I mean, I could see Duren potentially doing that at some point.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
Everybody on our roster is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
What's one guy that you think we should make a move for that is loud that we could get in a package with Nerlens Noel?
Yeah, I was going to say Patrick Beverly, but that's not happening for Nerlens. For Nerlens, I don't know. That's why I was kind of talking about, like, when we were talking over free agents a couple weeks ago, I was talking like a Carmelo Anthony. Like, he's not necessarily a huge personality, but he's a talker. He's not loud, but I think he's a communicator, a talker. That's why I would like somebody like him maybe, but maybe a DeAndre Jordan type. I'm not sure. I don't even know if DeAndre's on a roster right now.
Yep, he's with the Nuggets.
Okay, so I could maybe like something like that, but no one's really coming to mind, especially for Nerlens.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple free agents that we could maybe pick up if we moved Nerlens for a pick, maybe pick up a free agent. I don't know. It's a tough question.
There's one guy that I can see, but Nerlens wouldn't be going to a contending team. It'd be the Rockets, and getting like Eric Gordon as an example.
Okay, I like that.
He's not extremely loud, but there have been multiple press conferences recently where he's literally called out his team, because there was the one where, what improvements have you noticed this season? And he's like, there's been no improvements. So it's like, if we can get a guy calling out his team like that, and Eric Gordon, he just wants to be on a team that's contending. Yeah. Even if it's not contending, I'm sure he would fit in perfectly in Detroit with our roster. And he's a shooter, and we love shooters.
Absolutely. Speaking of shooters, I know this guy is pretty much a podcaster now, but JJ Redick.
Yeah.
I mean, even a guy like that, I know he's pretty far removed from the NBA now, but if there was a guy that's currently playing like a JJ Redick-esque, that'd be nice to have a guy like that. But it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah. And honestly, bring in a guy like JJ Redick still. Give him a role where he's not playing. Yeah. Just give him a role with the team. So it's like a motivational coach.
You know what's a hot take? If Casey doesn't work out, JJ Redick, head coach. JJ Redick.
Honestly, I think he could be a great head coach.
I think so too. I think he's a good talker, right? He's on the podcast, so he's a good communicator. He knows how to break things down.
He knows how to win.
Right, and he knows how to win. He's a winner, and he's a bucket getter. He knows how to run offenses.
He has that Duke philosophy with Coach K.
I mean, comment below. I mean, if you think JJ Redick possibly a head coach for the Detroit Pistons, I don't know.
But I will say, if we do move on from Casey and we were to hire a former player, the former player would have to had played for the Pistons.
Right. There's a lot of Jerry Stackhouse talk.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd like that. He's right now at Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's got that experience, right?
Isaiah Thomas would be a good coach again, but I don't see him working out if he were to come back.
Oh, dude, he's making so much money just talking on TV. I'm sure he loves those paychecks.
But no, Nerlens, we love you, but you're just not at a perfect time with us.
Yeah. Right now, I think the Pistons and Casey have handled Duren perfectly this season. Give him starter minutes. Let him make mistakes. He's a smart guy. He'll learn from his mishaps in games. He passes the eye test as far as superstardom. And I think, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. It might be a okay take. I can see him in the next 4 years being a top 5 center in the league.
I could see that.
Just the way he plays, because honestly, he kind of has the passing ability of a young Nikola Jokic. Yeah. I'm just saying, people.
He does.
I'm just saying. I think he can have that Nikola Jokic-esque passing ability with the Dwight Howard dominance and that Superman dominance. So people in the comments, let us know below if you kind of see that Nikola Jokic in Duren.
And if not that, do you think Duren is better than Dwight Howard? Not right now, because we all know that's true right now.
Yeah.
But start of career, is Duren just as good as Dwight starting his career?
Right.
Or is he better?
Right. I think Duren, I'm hoping, overall has a better career than Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Because Dwight Howard, he didn't make top NBA 75, right? That was a big deal. He didn't make NBA 75. So I want Duren to be in that 75.
Yeah.
I want him in that thing.
The only reason why Howard didn't make it is because he left Orlando and went to LA.
Yeah, and no chip in the end. He never got a chip either.
Yeah. If he would,
or no, he did with LA, but he was pretty checked out. He did in 2020, I think, get one with LA, but he was pretty checked out.
If he would have stayed in Orlando, people would have put him on that 75 list.
Yeah, I think so. But I think in the end, Duren, I'm hoping, has a better career than Dwight. But we'll see. You just never know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. But the pace he's on right now, he'll be perfectly fine.
And a video maybe we can do at the end of the season is a recap of Jalen Duren's rookie year and then Dwight Howard's rookie year. Yeah. We can maybe see how they compare, what they look like, because that would be kind of interesting.
A little bit of a bold take.
Okay.
We could, and it's not, in my opinion, it shouldn't even be close.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at Shaq's numbers, Dwight's numbers, and Duren's numbers all together.
Maybe Jokic.
Yeah.
Maybe Jokic too, just for funsies.
Mm-hmm. Throw all those guys together and see what the stats are like compared to each other.
Yeah.
Because Duren is a dominant force.
Yeah.
He just gets the board and goes straight back up and dunks it every single time.
And if you don't agree, you're not watching the games, because Duren, if you watch the way he dunks, the way he moves on the court, the way he plays, the way he passes, it just looks like superstardom.
Yeah.
It looks like the star, and no one's talking about it. Why is no one talking about how good Jalen Duren is? We got to put people on.
He's Superman. Right now, he is Superman.
2.0.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know who his kryptonite would be.
I don't know. I wanted to see him go against Embiid and kind of see what that looked like, but he's out with an ankle injury. So ankle injuries, maybe that's his kryptonite.
Yeah, maybe.
Because there's been great centers that look like they're going to have superstardom and deal with injuries. But knock on wood. Yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
We love you, Duren. In the end, we're huge fans. If this comes across your TikTok, if this comes across your Instagram page for somehow, we're coming to Detroit in February. Come on, let's go out to dinner or something. You know, we'll treat you to dinner.
But don't order anything too expensive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We don't have the bag yet.
Well, I'll just dip out of my retirement fund.
That's true.
I'll make a trip over to Edward Jones and just be like, hey, I got to pay for this man's dinner. But Duren, we're a big fan of you, man. And we appreciate your work ethic, and you're playing great, and we love it in the 313. Ryan, before we wrap things up, do you have any last thoughts?
Nerlens, we love you.
Yeah.
This is not us hating on you. We love you.
Yep.
But it's just not the right time.
Yep.
I wish it was, but it's just not.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about in the summer how a Nerlens Noel guy, we kind of wanted a guy like him to like see him flourish on the Pistons because we've always wanted him, and it just didn't work out.
No, I wish it did. But
maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe come back when we're contending and you just want to play with us again.
And just win a chip before you retire.
Yeah.
Because he's 28, so he's only got a couple more years left. But that's going to do it for episode 10. We talked about why Duren is getting more minutes than a guy like Nerlens Noel, who's better right now, who's going to have the better career. Kind of broke down Nerlens Noel's early years of the season, of his seasoned career. You can check us out at... I'm so tired.
Yeah.
At Revved Up Recaps after every Pistons game. We break down wins and losses, what went wrong, what went right. You can find us on TikTok at Revved Up 906. And you can follow us on Instagram at Revved Up 906. And we post clips, debate topics, blog posts, all the fun stuff. So we will see you in episode 11.
Yeah.
Peace.